Okay. Why is it so dark? Okay. Let's see. Why is my camera not working right? Can you guys see me okay? I see you on here now with the chat, but my visual is like black almost. Can you see me okay? You gotta let me know, otherwise I need to check my settings here. You can see me fine? Well, thank you guys. Hi. I don't know what's with this. My screen, I mean, I can barely see a little faint image of me and it's frozen. So you had to refresh. I might need to refresh, but if I refresh you, I'll lose you. So more important for me to have the chat than for me to see me on here. As long as you guys can see me okay. But hi Dave, how are you? Alicia, good evening. Patty. Oh, hearts, thank you. You can see me fine. All right. There's a glitch in the matrix. Oh, that's what it is, huh? Eli, hello. You see me. Oh, that's good. Thank you. Connie, hi. It's good to see you here, Eli. I've been wondering about you. So, wondering how you've been. Donna, hello. Hello. Anyway, yeah, guys, this is really weird to be just well, at least I won't get distracted by myself looking at this. I just look at the green dot, right? Just look at that in your chat. Bex, hey, how are you doing? Michigan Daffodil, hello. Why, everybody's just like piling in. That's one advantage of the time change when all of a sudden it's dark for everybody and nobody's outside doing anything. And so you're here on my live. Grammy Karen, hello. How are you? It was a busy day. Yes, it was. Busy day for everybody. Early supper, so you've made it. There you go. Well, we're all hungry, right? It's an hour. Our stomachs haven't quite gotten caught up to everything yet. Oh, that's true. It's still late in Oregon. There you go. It's been too dark for 2.5 hours now. Oh my goodness. So it's 3 minutes after 6 o'clock here. It was getting dark by 5 o'clock for sure. Yeah, because I was out and about, and I just got home at like I don't know, about 5 o'clock, and the sun was just setting. Oh, it was just like it was one of those sunsets, you guys. It was just incredible. So the sun is really far into the southern sky right now because we're only 6 weeks out from winter solstice. I mean, can you believe it? So it's really heading towards the southern sky, and the sun was right off the horizon, and we don't have any snow yet or anything, but so it was right off the horizon, and then there was like a cloud bank, a smooth one right above it. So the sun was just aiming right in that slot. It's almost like out of Star Wars, or something where they're just opening up this, the thing when you see the light coming through everything through the slit. Anyway, it was hitting at the right angle where it just lit that cloud bank on fire. I mean, it was just brilliant orange and pinks and then off to the purples, but it was just that little spot there the sun was coming through and then just lighting it up. Oh, it was like such a gift. So beautiful. It was so gorgeous there. But I mean, it only lasted for a few minutes and then just like poof, gone. But it was so beautiful. Hey, Debbie. Who are you? Oh, you took Donna. You saw it. You got pictures. Wasn't that gorgeous? Oh, It was so beautiful. I was driving, so I couldn't see it or couldn't stop for anything, but, it was dark at 4:30 there. Yeah, that I can believe, Dave, for you guys. Been McCoys, how are you? Oh my goodness. Oh, good to see you on here. Oh my goodness, life has been busy and hectic. A new direction now. Well, good to see you. So incredibly glad. Um, Alicia, you had a tropic. Oh, I didn't even hear about Nicole. Um, wow. So you've had it nice and warm. And nice and warm there. Matt and Sarah, hello. Kiri, good evening to you. Eli, you're right. You're absolutely right. It was so beautiful. It's when we see things like that, we just have to stop and realize that just take it. It's such a gift, and it really is. So it's a shopping day today, Sam's Club haul. Stocked up on TP and Kleenex. Good for you. Dog food, cheesy pasta. Oh, yep, all those things. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, it is a good feeling to get stocked up on some things. So I know when I start to see a few items getting low, and it's like, oh, I need to do that. And um, so it's really kind of like almost I guess I shop maybe once a week now, but so it always fluctuates and rotates into what I'm starting to run a little bit lower on, depending on what I'm using. So it's today it was a little different things than it was last time. So anyway, well, happy birthday, Caitlin, to you. Oh, that's so great. Very, very good. You guys, we're having a party here today. You guys are all here rocking it. Well, we have had hard frosts and freezes. Um, everything is dead out there now. It is yesterday was windy, windy, windy because we have this cold front moving in, and we've had a couple days in the last week that have been very, very windy. But we had like, just steady 30-mile-an-hour winds yesterday. I think even gusting to 40. And then sometime last week we had 40-mile-an-hour winds all day. And it was just like, so you talk about tropical storm. That's just a windy day here. But yeah, it was, and you think, oh, well, it's 45 degrees. That's not such a bad temperature. We can get outside and do some work. Well, when you've got 30-mile-an-hour winds at 45 degrees, it feels like it's about 18. So it's like, nah, you don't really want to get outside and work, right? Oh my goodness. Um, you only had 45 minutes below freezing so far. You have a hard freeze tomorrow night. Okay. Yep, all the leaves are down. Hey Jay, how are you? Yes, there was a burn ban because it was so windy, so you couldn't do that. It is. It's really difficult to be on it. Eliza, how are you? Got a few people from northern Minnesota on here. Minnesota? Or my southern, oh, it'd be Minnesota. Minnesota. Soda. The snow level dropped to 1,500 feet, going lower here. Yeah, you guys got some snow. Yeah, sure you betcha. There you go. You 28 degrees up there. Yeah, we're gonna be chilly by what are they saying? What's today? Monday. By Friday. Friday we're supposed to get snow, and then the weather after that looks like it's in the teens here. So yeah, sure. Yeah, McCoys. Yeah. Haha. But you guys are fun. You guys are great. So we have, I mean, Better chance of rain this week, but, you never know. It could get cold enough where it could turn to snow when they forecast the rain, but they're forecasting snow on Friday. For me, only like a 30% chance all day, but like all day, 30% chance. So, Matt and Sarah and Donna, I don't know what you guys have for a chance. And then Eliza, um, do you have a chance for snow then too? Hey, Glenn, how are you doing? You don't want snow? I know. It's, we've been spoiled this year. We've had a pretty mild October into November. We really have. So, um, been playing catch up. Okay. Your local, it's a big old fly. Go away. Slight chance it won't amount to anything. Okay. That's good. Mhm. Um, kind of your garden tip first here, and see what you guys have to say about it too. But you know, so many times as almost everybody here has experienced, life gets in the way for you to properly prepare your garden, either for winter or in the spring. You just can't get out there and plant right away or something. But um, I just I've been trying to get out and winterize, and it just hasn't been working. And so, but at least try to get the most important few things done, like anything that will get damaged by winter weather. Doesn't matter where you live, if you have, you know, hot winters, cold winters, whatever. But because winter weather is weather, and whether there are animals out there or whatever happens, but there things are going to get damaged. Just take care of those. Like for me, it'd be best for me to get my hoses in, get them all drained and inside, um, because those will split. They can, get so brittle in the winter they'll break. Different things like that. Um, if you have any containers or tools or anything like that outside, that really, if you end up with 3 or 4 feet of snow on it, is it going to make them rust? Will it ruin them or whatever? So I wish I had a fly swatter in here right now. It's just like, it heard me, it flew away. So you have a 70% chance. Okay, rain, then 60% chance of snow. Okay. So I'm wondering if the eastern half is going to get it worse. So I don't know. Uh, it can't snow until you get some shoes that aren't much. Oh, well, Patty, you're going to have to kind of hurry up with that because I saw this weekend that Northern California was having snow. So it's not too far away from that. You're in Nurstrand. Don't know where that is. You worked for a greenhouse landscape place until then. Yes, and that's an annual thing that you do seasonally, right? Um, yeah, so the coldest you've seen is in the 40s. You're slowly winterizing. Oh, there you go. So your most important thing is your irrigation system. That is very true. Um, hey, Michelle P, how are you? Harvesting sweet potato vines. So you just harvest the vines and then you go back and dig up the potatoes then? Your garden is cleaned well, the weeds in it. Oh, well, good for you. Oh, you guys are doing great. Your chicken's house is hunkered down too. Shalom, Lewis, how are you? You'll have to check the latest weather is down by Northfield. Okay. Um, to wrap your chicken run. Well, you've been doing a nice job on your shed, Dave, too, getting that all ready. So you've done a great job. Bigwood State Park. Okay, Donna. Okay. In Northfield, that's a gorgeous area down that way. Absolutely. If you were to win the big Powerball, you would seriously consider building a couple bug out refuges in the high desert. Well, there you go. There you go. I was had to stop and get gas and went into the convenience store at the gas station, and there was a sheriff that came in at the same time with me. He bought a Powerball ticket, and it was like, oh, I wonder if it's a big one or something. When you said, gonna win the Powerball, so um, it was kind of cute. The pig waters are not ready. You have too many different groups. You guys must be expanding that like crazy. It's really growing. You're in Chicago. Okay. The Windy City. Oh. Well, we have, well, I guess as you guys know, we've all experienced the time change. So again, I'm just going to go through what is kind of recorded as the pros and cons and listed, and try not to get ahead of me because I'm going to just be going through here, but I'd like you to weigh in on the one thing that I'm talking about, okay, and see what you guys think and what your ideas are. I know I've heard from some of you over the last couple of years, about it's like, oh, I hate the fall, or I hate the spring, or I love the spring, or whatever. And so to be clear, we just came out of daylight savings time. So in the summer, or basically the summertime, so in the US, at least it's April through the beginning of November, that is daylight savings time. So they figure that we're going to save an extra hour of daylight, so to speak, right? So, at the same time all year you hate the adjustments. They said that was it 33%. Oh no, I forgot. Only 33% of the people are in favor of the time change. So it leaves two-thirds of Americans do not like it and they do not want it. So so anyway, if we go through the pros first for daylight savings time. So the first pro is that longer daylight hours promote safety. So they make driving safer. It lowers the car accident rates and lowers the risk of pedestrians being hit by a car. Because you've got more daylight, you can see things better when you're driving out and about for work or going to places early in the evening, that type of thing. They also found that robberies drop about 7% overall and 27% in the evening hours after the spring time change. So when we go into that, it's like over 1/4 or 27% drop in the evening hours. They stated that most street crime occurs in the evening around common commuting hours of 5 to 8 p.m. and more ambient light during typical high crime hours makes it easier for victims and passersby to see potential threats and later identify wrongdoers. Also, daylight in the evening makes it safer for joggers, people walking dogs after work, and children playing outside, among others, because drivers are able to see people more easily and criminal activity is lowered. See what you get. There are more accidents and heart attacks due to our time. Oh, LaDiana, I'm so sorry. Deanna. I will get to the health things in a minute. That's why I asked you just not to jump ahead from what I'm doing because there's a lot of different things. So They're more kind. Okay, when you just say the time changes, you have to be specific and like whether it's the fall change or the spring change, because this was, for daylight right now. So that said that safety is one of the more solid arguments for keeping the lighter evenings of daylight savings time. So it's improved road safety, reduces pedestrian fatalities during dawn and dusk hours, and everything. So that was a pro for safety. Um, Said that daylight savings time is good for the economy. I know, I know. I think that was, I don't know how that got started, but uh, saying that was with the farmers. Most crime happens during the daylight hours, according to our numbers here in Oregon. Criminals have been hating this. You know, at this point in time, I don't think they care whether it's night or day. They just, if they're not being stopped, they're just in. So, yeah, and when the when the cows need to be milked, right? It's like they don't know if it needs an extra daylight or not, extra light. They just like, okay, let's get this down. Yeah, cows don't wear watches. Um, so again, the second pro is that it's good for the economy for daylight savings time. Later daylight means more people shopping after work, increasing retail sales, and more people driving, increasing gas and snacks sales for 8 months of the year. Um, the golf industry reported that 1 month of daylight savings time was worth, get this, 200 to 400 million dollars. 1 month extra because of the extended evening hours golfers can play. That's just one industry. The barbecue industry estimated their profits increase $150 million for 1 month of daylight savings time. In 2007, an estimated $59 million was saved because fewer robberies were committed thanks to the sun being up later. So again, that's 15 years ago. It's a different world right now. So this might be a little bit different. Chambers of commerce tend to support daylight savings because of the positive effect on the economy. Consumer spending increases during daylight savings, giving the economy a boost. Compared to Phoenix, Arizona, which does not have daylight savings, Los Angeles shoppers spent 3.5% less when it ended in the fall. So LA, there you go. Get ready for a downturn. uh, yeah, it all comes to money. I know. Um, that is so true. I was starting to get into, starting to research on the history, and I didn't quite get there, but I ran out of time. Sorry, guys. So right now I'm really just talking pros and cons, not really the history of it. But okay, the third pro is that it promotes active lifestyles. When the day is later, people tend to participate in more outdoor activities after work. Professor of economics at Simon Fraser University said that because of daylight savings time, people engaged in more outdoor recreation and less indoor TV watching. An additional 3% of people engaged in outdoor behaviors who would otherwise have stayed indoors. Baseball was a huge early supporter because there was no artificial illumination of parks. So they could get school kids and workers to the ball games with the extended daylight. They would have a later start time, which makes sense. There are a lot of advantages to it, but it's still, I don't need it being late or light until 10:30 at night. I really don't. I remember as a kid, it was really hard to get to sleep. if if your bedtime is 7:30 or something and it's like, "It is so late out, how do you get to sleep?" And, exactly, Alicia, it's really hard with kids, and, but anyway, the, so, okay, the 4th pro is for the longer evenings, setting the clocks forward in an hour doesn't create more daylight. It does change the time on the clock, the time that the sun rises and sets. So we're not like getting more time. It's just adjusting it. So again, it promotes outdoor recreation, golf, soccer, baseball, running, all that kind of stuff. Tourism, again, is a big one. The last pro that I have is that you have less artificial light that you're dealing with. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Room darkening shades. That's a good idea. Um, One of the aims of daylight savings is to make sure that people's active hours coincide with daylight hours so that less artificial light is needed. This makes less sense close to the equator, where the amount of daylight does not vary much in a year, or near the poles, where the difference between winter and summer daylight hours is very large. So for me, I go from um, in the summer, in June, probably about 16 and a half hours, somewhere in there, of daylight to in December, it's about 7.5 hours of daylight. So that's a big swing. That's a huge adjustment there. And that big fly is just annoying. The debunk the energy savings. I know. I will get there. Um, oh, thank you, Patty, for putting up the history. Um, Let me see. So, however, at latitudes between the extremes, adjusting daily routines to the shifting day length during summer may indeed help to save energy. A German analysis of 44 studies on energy use and daylight savings found a positive relationship between latitude and energy savings. But I'm coming to the cons here. So, those are all the pros that have been written about and have been touted and not necessarily really work out and really are true for everybody. Like you said, crime and daylight now is just still it's there. Okay, so the first con. So do we have your swing is listening? Oh, okay. It is a big variation, Dave. It definitely is. I know, man. So you got your shorts and t-shirt on, right? Running around your Crocs, I'm sure. Hey, Julie, how are you doing? Um, so you need name tags for those channel names. That'd be nice. Everybody put your name tag on when you get on here, so people will read your name. Okay. The first con that did you know that daylight savings time is actually bad for your health? So again, we're talking about the shift that happens in the spring, daylight savings time. So we've just come out of that. So changing sleep patterns, even by 1 hour, goes against a person's natural circadian rhythms and has negative consequences for health. One study found that the risk of a heart attack increases 10% the Monday and Tuesday following the springtime change. Ask EMS. Yep, more heart attacks. Absolutely. Following the springtime change. Researchers found an increase in cluster headaches, like sudden and debilitating headaches, after the fall time change, which was yesterday. So if you start hearing a lot of people with headaches and different things, that's really, really so true. I know. You really, Dave? Oh, cluster headaches. Wow. Um, I've never heard that term before. So, unless you're holed up and down. Yes, Michelle. Doesn't matter what the time change is, 4 hours is 4 hours, right? It's like, oh, um, James Wyatt, PhD, associate professor at Rush University Medical Center, stated, "We're encountering an increase in extra auto and workplace accidents on Monday, or perhaps even carrying through the first week of the spring time shift." Because people have all of a sudden lost that hour, and it's like their their sleep has not gotten off on adjusted yet. And so they're basically, if you're running on low sleep, it's the same as being having an alcohol level of zero point 0.3 or something like that. I mean, it's huge. um, if you ever just try to do an experiment with yourself or something at some point, if you're getting 8 or 9 hours of sleep every night, do that regularly, then get a night of about 4 hours of sleep and see how you're feeling and functioning that next day. It's like all of a sudden you're just kind of like in this fog, and you're just kind of like, "What? Okay," you just can't think clearly, and you're doing things, and you're messing up and all that kind of stuff. So um hey, Debbie Carmi, hi. You always feel off. I know it's fall is easier for me because I do have that extra hour that I get to sleep, but it's still, yeah, the spring one is just so, yep. 1 hour change takes at least one day to adjust. That is for traveling, like 7 hours to England, 30. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. In the weeks following the spring daylight saving time change, male suicide rates rose in Australia compared to the weeks following the return to standard time in the fall. Now, all of these statistics are pre-COVID era. So um, you just can kind of imagine that it's probably worse now. People, a far higher depression rate, far higher suicide rate, just all this stuff. So it doesn't take as much to knock people off their kilter, So yeah. Oh, I hear you. True, Michelle. Yeah, I think so too. It's like, and that's where if I am working late into the night, I have to take some time to just read or do something mindless to just get my mind shutting off. Otherwise, if I lay down trying to go to sleep, and I'm coding in my brain and thinking about this and thinking about that, and it's just like all this stuff, and or designing, and it's like my brain just won't shut off. So I have to be really careful not to work late into the evening. Sometimes I can't avoid it, but really try to not do that. Um, Daylight savings time increases the risk that a car accident will be fatal by 5 to 6.5%. So it's a over 5% increase in that, and results in over 30 more deaths from car accidents annually. Stupid brain. I know, I hear that. All right, the next con is that it can make people sick. Changing the time, even if it is only by 1 hour, disrupts our body clocks or, again, their circadian rhythm. For most people, the resulting tiredness is simply an inconvenience. For some, however, the time change can have more serious consequences to their health. Studies link the lack of sleep at the start of daylight savings times, again, to car accidents, workplace injuries, suicide, and miscarriages. Interesting. The early evening darkness after the end of the daylight savings time, which is now, is linked to depression. So, yes, there's a higher depression rate because we don't have the sunlight that people are used to when they're coming home from work, in the evening, that type of thing. So, it shuts the chatter off in your head. I know. Dave, did you just have it? I thought you guys had it a few months and months ago. Did you just have it again, or you're just getting over it? I'm sorry. Oh, it's the first time, and you're just getting it now? Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. Um, yeah, because you have an extra hour of being sick, so it's gonna that's gonna make it go longer. So I'm so sorry. Um, Lots of zinc. Do at least fifty milligrams of zinc every day. That'll help take care of your loss of taste, or the sense of taste and everything. Just hit it with everything you can, naturally, and any over the counter cold stuff or whatever. Uh, I know, I know. Yep, lots of vitamin D3. We've been talking about that the last few weeks, I think. Make sure you increase it now, especially with the time change and less daylight. Everything increase it. Like I've been taking 5,000 units, so I'm going to increase mine to 10. So yeah, it's really important to get that in there. Um, the risk of, again, the heart attack thing, um, increases for daylight savings time. However, the extra hour that we get in the fall has in turn been linked to fewer heart attacks. It just goes to show you how important that sleep is. And when we disrupt our sleep in that way, it takes on so much. Yeah. Um, all right. Next con is it drops productivity during daylight savings time. You'd think it would be more productive if we have more daylight, right? But the Monday after the springtime change is called Sleepy Monday because it is one of the most sleep deprived days of the year. The week after the spring daylight saving time change sees an increase in cyber loafing. In other words, employees wasting time on the internet because they're tired. We all want to be outside playing. I know. I know. I wish I had another couple weeks just to be outside and get stuff done. And um, it just hasn't been working here. Um, a German chronobiologist who studies the body's relationship with light and dark notes that the human circadian clock doesn't adjust to daylight savings time. And the consequence of that is that the majority of the population has drastically decreased productivity, decreased quality of life, increasing susceptibility to illness, and is just plain tired. So, yep, just plain tired. Well, if that takes place in April and the beginning of April, and it takes what, sometimes 2 or 3 weeks to adjust to it. And then all of a sudden we're, you know, let's say you're in school or your job revolves around the school time frame or something. You're into May and it's like you're just trying to get things done for the year. Um, you might be doing worse on tests, trying to write those papers at the end of the year and just trying to get any of that done. Well, and then for as homesteaders, trying to get motivated to get out and garden and to get all that stuff done. Yes, we have more light, but it's like if we're trying to adjust to that and it's sleep depriving. So that's anyway. Um oh, Patty, that's awesome. That is so great. A farm store. You hit that, yeah. Um, okay, you guys are giving all of your tips for Dave. Good. Yeah, it's stay away from sugar and dairy. That will aggravate it. Absolutely. So, all right, the next con for daylight savings time or against daylight savings time is that it is expensive. Um, an economist at Utah State University states that the simple act of changing clocks costs Americans, get this, listen to this, $1.7 billion in lost opportunity cost based on average hourly wages, meaning that the 10 or so minutes spent moving clocks, watches, and devices forward and backward could be spent on something more productive. Over $1.5 billion just for doing that. I know, right? Insane. The Air Transportation Association estimated that the daylight savings time cost the airline industry $147 million in 2007, thanks to confused time schedules with countries who do not participate in the time change. Yeah, all of a sudden it's like, you just get on board with being in sync with countries and thinking, okay, there's 7 hours to Germany, 8 hours to Israel. It's just different things like that, and it's like I might be off on that, so don't quote me on that. But I mean, it's just as an example, or 14 hours to Tokyo or whatever it is, and it's like, okay, you just kind of get that in rhythm, and then all of a sudden it changes, and it's like, wait a minute. So, but that's a lot of money. And according to get this, the Lost Hour Economic Index. So there's a whole economic index for the lost hour. Moving the clocks forward has a total cost to the US economy of $434 million nationally, factoring in health issues, decreased productivity, and workplace injuries. Yeah, so if you that sleepy Monday, you're just like out of it. That again, that safety thing going on. So that's and I don't think moving the clocks back is enough to make up for that. It can come back a little bit, but it doesn't make up for that every year. Um, yeah, I don't know. They didn't really include the farmers in on this, Patty. So it's um, it's kind of unusual here. So it's actually it's hard to determine the economic cost of the collective tiredness caused by daylight savings time, but studies again decrease in productivity. Um, get this: the city of New York invested $1.5 million in a dusk and darkness safety campaign for the daylight saving change for the fall of 2016. So for the fall one, let's put $1.5 million of taxpayer money into a dusk and darkness safety campaign. I'm like, okay, yeah. Tomorrow's election day. I'm not even going to go into any of this stuff. Right, Donna? Roll the eyes. Uh, there is an extra cost in building daylight savings time support into computer systems and keeping them maintained, as well as manually changing clocks. Well, yeah, it's like our phones automatically change, our computers automatically change, anything like this, it's an automatic change. So, um, you know, who it's not just something that's in here. Somebody's got to maintain that and tell the OS that has to go on. Tinkers, yeah. Uh, so And then it really doesn't save energy. So that, that was one of the big pros that they were coming up with, that, oh yeah, daylight savings time saves a lot of energy. A century ago, when daylight saving times was introduced, so it's been going on for about 100 years, more daylight was a good thing because it meant less use of artificial light and more energy savings. Modern society, with its computers, TV screens, and air conditioning units, uses more energy, no matter if the sun is up or not. Today, the amount of energy saved from daylight savings time is negligible. Um, when Indiana decided to introduce daylight savings time in 2006, a study found that the measure actually increased energy use in the state. Well, yeah, I mean, in June, it's 100 degrees outside and you're going to still be up, until the sun goes down, which is after 10 o'clock at night. It's going to be like, well, we're still running all the, full AC and fan and all that kind of stuff. So I say we dump this archaic practice of changing the clocks twice a year. Yeah, even way back then, they knew it didn't save money. So anyway, those are the pros and cons. So give me a thumbs up if you want to do away with daylight savings time. McCoy, they said about 100 years ago. Oh, but now you said it's been going on for centuries. A century ago when it was introduced, it says. Although I had read somewhere that it was actually, somebody was attributing it to Benjamin Franklin, which is all right, man, Sarah. Uh, we've got 10 for each family member, right? Okay. So that's if you want to keep. Did I say keep daylight savings time or do away with daylight savings time? Okay. So we're all agreed that we want to have just one or the other, right? Stop changing it back and forth. Do away with it. Okay, do away with it. So then just keep it on standard time. So just Alicia, you got a few more in there. You read it started during World War One and stopped after the war, then reinstalled during World War II. Okay, so it makes sense. Yeah. So keeping standard time. You guys are great. The final time in the U.S. was a few years before you were born. Okay. Yeah, so I was born in 58. So, of course, I was too little until 65 to really remember any of that stuff. But the stream version of a thumb wrestling match. There you go, guys. Oh, that's good. That's good. So, yes, I would be. Because, like I said, I don't need to be having daylight that late into the summer. I really don't. I mean, if the sun is setting at 9 o'clock, that's totally fine with me rather than 10 o'clock. Um, Truthfully, we need to be in and starting to get to bed. Because if the sun is up at 4:30 in the morning, then, it's like you need to get some sleep. So I would rather have it up, and light then. So right now, It's just it was nice because it was the sun wasn't coming up until like 8:15 in the morning. So now we're back to that around 7:15 or so. So then by December, it would be if we stayed on daylight savings time all year round, it would be like 9:30 before the sun would be coming up. And it's just like it's like if it's like noon before you feel like it's really morning. And so I would rather have it early a day or light earlier in the morning and then dark earlier in the evening, I think. So above the 45th, there's sunsets after later than in California and other places anyway. Yeah. Oh, you don't like early sunrise. Michigan Daffodil, you're a night person then, huh? I hate early 4 a.m. 6 a.m. is fine. Yeah. That is a good point, Patty. That is a very good point because even if you're trying to garden at 7 and 8 o'clock in the evening in the summer, it can still be, 95 degrees outside and the mosquitoes are out and they're getting at you. So it's like I really don't even garden until after 7:30 at night in the summer. So that's a very, very good point. Very good point there. Um, yeah, no, I think that's so. Let's just hope that the powers that be, if they decide to do away with one or the other, that they are not like really trying to. It like you guys said, it'll probably all come down to money. It's like, oh, if we have more light hours in the evening, because right now, like I said, it's getting dark by 5:30. So it's like, well, we don't want it dark that early in the evening. So we're going to, because we want more people out shopping and spending money. It's like people do so much of their shopping online anyway. It's like that doesn't really even make any difference. But you can't stay up late enough in summer to enjoy the lights in the ground. Yeah, yeah. I know, and, like, for July 4th, when we have fireworks around here, they can't run them till 10:30 because it's not dark enough. So, it's like 10:30 or 10:45, um, before they can even do the fireworks. So, yeah. Michigan Daffodil, they have those fancy window thingies that you can have programmed in and everything and do, like, a scene or a sunrise type thing in the middle of the night, so you Oh, that's really gets your circadian cycle thingy going, right? Um, okay. So, um, little prep tip. I think I mentioned it once a couple years back on somebody else's live. But anyway, if you're on, you're worried about um, supply disruption and different things like that going on. If you have if you're on medication and stuff like that, and it's something that you're just like, I hope I don't run out or something like that. And if your insurance is one that will be like, well, you have to wait until this day before you can refill your prescription and stuff like that. Um, I don't know if any of you guys are like me. There are times that I just miss and I forget. I mean, I'm not on anything that's like super important for my daily sustenance, or anything like that. But so if it's something that you do miss once in a while and you look at your bottle and go, oh, you know what, I still have a week's worth left, even though I should be ordering it today. It's like 3 or 4 more left, and maybe I'll just wait another few days before I order it. Try to order your meds exactly as soon as you possibly can when the refill allows it. And over time, even if it's like 1 or 2 a month or something like that, over time, and I'm talking like a year or two, or whatever, but you will eventually get an a few extra weeks of supply out of that. That can be a little buffer for you in the way of like I said, supply chain issues, or you have to change providers, or all of a sudden your insurance won't cover it anymore, and you need time to get um, to arrange new things for yourself, and get a new prescription or get a new supplier, different things like that. And they do have and they're increasing that even more. But in order to soon message, it depends on your pharmacy, depends on all the kind of stuff. But um, it is harder to do that now than it was a couple years ago. I mean, I started doing that quite a few years ago, but um, it has gotten much tighter now. But anyway, yeah. So if you get, like, say, a 3 month supply, and you do that. But anyway, just saying that if just not to delay in ordering them, get them as soon as you can, the day that you're able to get them refilled, because at some point there will be um, an extra here or there that you'll be able to have. So even if it's a week, you have a week's worth after a year or something like that, is something extra that you have. So anyway, that is my prep tip for tonight. So I want to tell you guys to keep praying for Billy Joe and Kevin. Dave, I have not talked with Billy Joe for a while, and I don't know that BJ is on here, but um, Joy, I don't know if she's talked with her or emailed her recently, but um, so I haven't heard anything, so I didn't know if. Um, hey, Michigan Daffodil, that's great. That's all. Schmooze the doctor 2 times a day. Oh, I know. She's hanging there. Oh, good. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Um, sometimes your doctors totally understand. I mean, if you've got a really good doctor, they'll totally understand the situation that you're in, and what's going on and everything. And um, if they can give you, a 45 days supply every 30 days or something, it's like, that they can help you out there. I know that that'll be great. Um, and there's one that I take, that I actually take I cut the tablets in half because that's all I need. And so every time I get them, it's like double of what I need. So it's like, okay. Um, that is great. You're naughty. You can talk to her when you start. Oh, that's good. I love it. Michigan Daffodil, you're so funny. Um, so anyway, guys, this is about all I have here for tonight. I just want to, um, how did, um, okay, I think, who was saying this? Was it Michigan Daffodil or Curie? I can't remember. The daylight saving time is the practice against. Okay, the idea of aligning waking hours to daylight hours to conserve candles was first proposed in 1784 by U.S. polymath Benjamin Franklin. It was Ben Franklin. He proposed it in 1784. He suggested that waking up earlier in the summer would economize on candle usage, and calculated considerable savings. In 1895, a New Zealand entomologist and astronomer proposed the idea of changing clocks by 2 hours every spring. Oh, that would be a horrible change. 2 hours. We know 1 hour does. Oh my goodness. So in 1907, a British resident presented the idea as a way to save energy, but it was not implemented. So In 1908, um, Port Arthur in Ontario, Canada started using the daylight savings time. In 1916, the German Empire and the Austria-Hungary um, country each organized the first nationwide implementation in their jurisdictions. Many countries have since used it since then, but particularly since the 1970s energy crisis. The Navajo Nation does observe it, conforming to federal practice. Okay. Hawaii and Arizona does not. I didn't know Hawaii didn't either. They're so far off in their time that it didn't matter. So anyway, there's a whole bunch more history, but all right, guys. So good to see you again. I know time flies, right? Oh, I know too. It's like, no, no. Um, all right, you guys take care. God bless. Always have hope. You have a wonderful, wonderful week. And maybe next time I get on this thing, I'll be able to see myself. I don't know. I don't need to, but just like, just helps me to know if I'm in the screen or not, you know? So, anyway, you guys take care. We'll see you next week and have a great week and enjoy the extra hour of sleep that you've gotten. Good night.